What I hate to report to you is that guns have become the leading cause of death for American kids. Holy shit. Guns have become the leading cause of death for American kids. Firearms were the leading cause of death for kids 1 and older for the first time in 2020, the most recent year for which CDC data is available. Firearm death rate among children is steadily rising as more kids are involved in gun-related homicides like Tuesday's mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas, as well as suicides and accidents. Nearly two-thirds of the 4,368 U.S. children up to age 19 who were killed by guns in 2020 were homicide victims, per the CDC. Motor vehicle crashes, formerly the leading cause of death for kids 1 and older, killed nearly 4,000 children. Another 30% of firearm-related child fatalities were suicides, 3% were accidental, and 2% were of undetermined intent. I would have thought accidents were higher. Wow. I don't know what we do. I don't know what we do, but clearly, more police are not the answer. My meme for today, let me hit you with another. I've got several. These colors don't run into schools to save dying children. No, they fucking don't. Let's hear from one of the cops and how he feared for his life, that they could have been shot. Texas police lieutenant says cops were reluctant to engage the gunman because they could have been shot. That's your fucking job! That is your fucking job! Your job is to go in there and get shot, if necessary, to protect people. God damn.
Well, was it a mistake, do you believe, Lieutenant, for the officers on the scene who were there, as you correctly point out, to wait for this second tactical team to arrive before fully pushing into that school and neutralizing the gunman?
So what we do know, Wolf, is that there was multiple officers that arrived on scene. There was 3 officers that arrived. They made entry at one of the entrances where the gunman actually made entrance to. We had another 4 officers that made entry at the other entrance of the school. So there was officers inside that school. As they were taking gunfire, they were also calling in for reinforcement, backup, tactical teams, snipers.
Yeah, wait until you hear what one of the officers did inside the school. Fuck.
Any additional personnel that could arrive to assist, to not only with the situation, but also to assist in evacuating students and teachers. At that time, that's when a U.S. Border Patrol tactical officer arrived, also with a Zavala County Sheriff's deputy, as well as 2 additional Uvalde Police Department officers were able to go into that classroom with a ballistic shield as cover. And of course, we know that one of those officers, an agent, actually was shot, was grazed at the top of the head, but they were able to shoot and kill the suspect and preserve any other life. We know that there was other injured children inside that classroom that they were able to save as well and get them to cover. And at that point, it became a recovery.
That they were able to save.
Operation, trying to rescue the injured and also any other potential children or teachers that were inside those classrooms.
But don't current best practices, Lieutenant, call for officers to disable a shooter as quickly as possible, regardless of how many officers are actually on site?
Correct. The active shooter situation, you want to stop the killing, you want to preserve life, but also one thing that, of course, the American people need to understand is that officers are making entry into this building. They do not know where the gunman is. They are hearing gunshots. They are receiving gunshots. At that point, if they proceeded any further, not knowing where this suspect was at, they could have been shot. They could have been killed. And at that point, that gunman would have the opportunity to kill other people inside that school. So they were able to contain that gunman inside that classroom so that he was not able to go to any other portions of the school to
Contain him! Oh, we're going to get into the parents here in just a second. Holy shit. And you're not going to believe what the cops did to the parents outside. fuck? First, let's get a timeline of events as we know it, but I don't think it's with the latest correction that the police have made. They keep changing their story.
Now on News 4 in Uvalde entered the elementary school through an unlocked door, barricaded himself inside a classroom, and quickly killed 19 students and 2 teachers.
What's important to us is why. Why did he do this? Why did he do this? Who is this man?
It took an hour for police to get to him and finally kill him. Families outside Robb Elementary School say they begged officers there to please rescue their babies.
Yeah, and that video is heart-wrenching. You're going to see that here in a
Police
little bit.
Responding to questions this afternoon about how an 18-year-old armed with an assault rifle was able to walk into a 4th-grade classroom and open fire Tuesday afternoon.
By the time a law enforcement officer shot and killed the gunman, he had already destroyed lives inside Robb Elementary School.
We're following the aftermath of this tragedy from several angles this evening. We begin with Tarek, who's joining us with the latest police briefing on the timeline of the shooting. Tarek.
Well, authorities have changed their account of what happened on Tuesday, saying that the suspect was not confronted by an armed school resource officer when he got on campus.
I call bullshit.
Now say there was no armed resource officer on campus at all at the time. We also learned that the shooter entered the school through a door that had been left unlocked.
It's heartbreaking.
I don't believe it. They're covering their asses.
Police to do more as they arrived at Robb Elementary School after a gunman entered the school, ultimately.
You're going to see this video uncensored here in just a second.
Teachers. Parents are heard saying, "Let's just rush in because the cops aren't doing anything like they're supposed to." It's unclear precisely when this video was shot, but here you see police form a human barricade to keep parents from rushing in.
Here's another thing, and I can't confirm this, but apparently the dispatch logs are missing for about a 15-minute interval as this was going on. It was like the 11:45 to noon interval of the dispatch logs are missing.
According to police, at 11:28 a.m., they received reports of a crashed vehicle and a man with a backpack, body armor, and a rifle approaching Robb Elementary School. Authorities say Salvador Ramos opened fire on people across the street at a funeral home, then climbed a fence to get on school property.
Now he's in the parking lot, shooting at the school multiple times.
At 11:40 a.m., he says the shooter gained access to the school through an unlocked door and immediately began firing multiple rounds at students and teachers.
4 minutes later, local police departments, Uvalde Police Department, the Independent School District Police Department are inside, making entry.
No.
They hear gunfire, they take rounds, they move back, get cover.
One parent drove 40 miles, knew the shooting was going on, drove 40 miles to get there. The shooting was still going on.
And during that time, they approached where the suspect is at.
Escalon says the gunfire subsided as officers took cover inside the school, calling for additional resources while others evacuated students and school personnel. It wasn't until approximately an hour after the attack began that Border Patrol and tactical teams arrived and shot and killed Ramos.
How it is that your officers were in there for an hour, yes, rescuing people, but yet no one was able to get inside that room.
Shimon, we will circle back with you. We want to answer all your questions. We want to give you the why. That's our job. So give us time. I'm taking all your questions. I'm taking them back to talk to the team.
You're useless.
Recently killed by an elite member of the U.S. Border Patrol team who just barely avoided being killed himself. A bullet grazed the top of his head. Now, this case is being investigated by Texas Rangers, but lawmakers are now calling for an independent investigation by another agency because of all of the conflicting...
Oh, an independent agency is going to clear him anyway because it's just going to be another law enforcement agency and all the cops cover for each other. God damn. Not only were they useless in this situation, apparently they helped the shooter. I want to point out,
Well, Sheridan, right before the mayhem.
Before we watch this video, this is in the story. When the cops came, the cops said, "Yell if you need help." And one of the persons in my class said, "Help." The guy overheard and he came in and he shot her. The cop barged into that classroom, the guy shot at the cop, and the cops started shooting.
I spoke to a 9-year-old who says that they were just watching a movie right before lunch, and then they started to hear bangs. And that's when their teacher said to hide, and they were on lockdown. And just seconds later, the 4th grader, he got under a table with his friend. They hid underneath during this entire time. He saw the unthinkable, seeing teachers and his classmates all lose their lives.
Shot our next person's door, and then we have a door in the middle, and he opened it, and then he came in and he crouched a little bit and he said it's time to die. When he shot, it was very loud and it hurt my ear. When I saw the bullets on the floor, it was real.
Recounting the nightmare, this 4th grader, a survivor of the mass shooting inside Robb Elementary. His parents not wanting him on camera, but he wanted to share what happened.
And when I heard the shooting through the door, I told my friend to hide under something so he won't find us. I was hiding hard and I was telling my friend to not talk because he's gonna hear us. The cop said, "Help if you need help," and then one of the persons in my class said, "Help." The guy overheard and he came in and shot her. And then the cops barged into that classroom, and the guy shot the cops, and the cops just started shooting at.
When the gunman was dead, the child then did this.
I just opened the curtain, and then I just put my hand out, and then I got out with my friends because I knew it was the police when I saw the armor and the shield.
He says his teachers, Miss Irma Garcia and Miss Eva Mireles, saved their lives.
And poor Irma Garcia, her husband, suffered a heart attack last night and has now passed. Jesus.
They were nice teachers, and they went in front of my classmates to help to save them.
The 4th grader wasn't hurt.
Those are the real heroes.
But the majority of his class did not. As a final word, the little boy with this to share.
I would like to say for every kid and parents to be safe.
Wow. To be safe, he says. You know, I had told him, I said, what makes you feel safe now? And he says it's being with his family, it's hugging them, and to share his feelings and emotions. Today, this 4th grader saw a counselor today, and he said another highlight was to see one of his classmates who survived, and he gave him a big hug.
Now here is the full video. It's about 6.5 minutes long. This is what the parents were going through with the cops outside of the school. We saw sections of this video earlier in one of the news hits. Remember, the shooting is still going on. Apparently, we are going to be able to hear gunshots in this footage. I believe they've already slammed one of the parents down on the ground over there. This whole thing needed a content warning. Yeah, they've got one of the parents detained. They pepper sprayed other parents. Pepper sprayed. Well, they're wanting to do something because the cops aren't. I can't blame them. I can't blame. The cops went and got their own fucking kids out. You can see them detaining one of the parents. Little men with big guns. He's got his taser pulled on parents. On parents. It shouldn't be a live shooter situation at this point. The cops should have done their fucking jobs. Once again, their job is to die to protect people. I don't care if you were scared you were going to get shot. That's your fucking job. That's what we pay you to do. And this isn't the first example. Remember the cop at Parkland? Useless. Useless. Yeah, I feel so sorry for these parents. My heart goes out to them. It's okay, I understand. I understand. Come back in like 10 minutes and hopefully we'll be making fun of Ted Cruz and Herschel Walker.
Stay with your mother right here. Don't let your mother cross that line. Don't let your mother cross
Yeah, I think it's important to show. And there were like the clips with the most action circulated, about a 2-minute clip.
Hey, we got guys going in to get kids, okay?
You got guys going in to get their own kids. You got guys going in to get their own kids.
Hey, so I'm just saying right here. So I'm just saying. They're worried about keeping their kids on the stretcher. They don't, but
Yes, a lot of bullies are dumb, useless thugs. I would say the vast majority of them. There are some that are good, but the cops end up always turning on them. Chris Dorner, fantastic cop. Adrian Schoolcraft in New York City was a good cop. But we saw what happened to both of them. We see what happens to good cops. Just fuck cops. We gotta abolish the police. They are useless. Absolutely useless. Yeah, and supposedly when they cause trouble and escalate, we're supposed to put up with that because they keep us safe in situations like this. Bullshit. A first responder learned that his daughter was shot. God damn. This one might be hard to watch as well, so I'll hit the content warning. I'm not sure if this was the parent that we were talking about earlier that jumped the fence, but this is one of the parents describing the scene.
Got my kids, we ran out. That was, yes. Porque podía oír todavía, everything was going on, the shooting was still going on. And all I could hear is that he was farther than the other son, so I tried to make it to the other son. Sí, tuve mucho miedo.
Were your children at the funeral home hiding?
No, my niece's class was at the funeral home, behind the funeral home hiding. That's why we couldn't find their class for a long time.
Okay.
So you still heard like gunshots? Yes, and I still was in there. Yes. But we need to really go. Just ran straight to my classrooms that I need to get to, got my kids. We ran out. That was, yes.
Was this a parent? This might have been a teacher. Angeli Gomez ran into Robb Elementary while she could hear gunfire to reach her 9-year-old and her 8-year-old. Okay, so she was a parent. Teacher broke a window so her students could escape the shooter, Gomez said. That's when they hid at the funeral home. She was bringing the bouquet she was holding. Memorial. Let me show you a little statistic that's going to piss you the fuck off. In on it here. This is the Uvalde the Uvalde budget. I can't zoom in. Find. God damn it, where's the zoom? Where's the zoom? I would have saved this shit. Sorry, but if you will notice, this is the city's budget. You see where the money goes. My apologies for not being able to make it bigger here. You see that one giant bar there? Take a wild guess what that is. That would be the police budget. Baldy. The police budget. Over 40% of the budget spent on policing. And what did that money get them? Huh? Oh.